go. So, I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution, another opportunity for us to find ourselves present and participating in the process of finding our quiet place. That is what today's stream topic is about. I feel like I'm in a quiet place right now and thinking about how the world is loud in general. The world's pretty loud. This week has been a very busy one, and it's nice to be here on a Saturday, getting to feel like I can calm down a little bit, take it easy, don't have to rush, find myself somewhere else. I get to be in my quiet place. Hope that you friends find yourself in a quiet place as well. Good morning, Melt. Happy Saturday. Thank you. Thank you. Dan, that's nice of you, bro. How are you doing on this Saturday? You do get Saturdays off, right? I remember you saying you work like a bunch of days, and some days you work like 12-hour days. Do you get weekends off? Tell me, what's the plan? Chief Lakota is here too. Chief Lakota has been a new friend. It's been joining the space, and it's been super nice having you a part of this fractal that we can kind of show up for, friend. A quiet place. I feel really relaxed. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. I want to know more. I want to know more about you, Lakota. Maybe you can tell me what your quiet place looks like. All right. I have a little bit of a dialogue between me and you today. I didn't put any product in my hair, so it's maximum Boflufius. Yes. Good morning, folks. I'm a singer. I would not have. You know what? Actually, I would have. I would have been able to think that. What kind of music you like singing? Is that a quiet place for you? My father has a massive church. My father didn't have a church, still doesn't have a church, but my father was one of those, still continues to be band members. He plays the guitar and he'll sing the gospels, and sometimes he'll do a ceremony or a sermon. There we go. That's the right word. Singing saved my life. Man, how long have you been singing for? Is it something that you came back to over and over again? I used to sing as well, Chief Lakota. When I was very young. I still think that I'm capable of singing, but during that formative time of my life, I was made fun of. Since 5 years old, you see, it usually is that way. Usually does hook onto you at a young age and then kind of either gets beaten out of you or you hold on to it. You sound like you're a singer. I could be. I don't think I have any training whatsoever. I think I could be better of a singer if I actually practiced. But the big thing for me is just remembering lyrics, right? Like, I think I can sing fine enough, but memorizing words to a song, that's where the real challenge comes in. I sing at weddings and funerals. You enjoy that? I'm sure that you get a lot of appreciation doing that. I had a whole thought to myself about congratulations, right? And how we are congratulated as people for very few things, right? Very few things that you actually get congratulated for. I love making people happy. That's wholesome. And yeah, you know, I hope that you are celebrated in your space. Dan says, yes, I work 12 hours on Monday, Tuesday, and then I get Friday and Saturday and Sunday off. Okay, 3 days off. That's kind of nice. You're winning. It's rainy and gloomy today, so I'll cook and watch movies and game. I think today is a day like that for me too. I cooked yesterday, cooked a bunch of quinoa and chicken pieces. I do need to make some vegetables at some point. We set the intention to start cooking even more of our own meals and do so from a place of budget consciousness, right? I think that's what I'll end up doing is I'll buy a bunch of chicken drumsticks, cook them, maybe like debone them, boil those bones until all of the taste is out of them, then take that water, make quinoa with it. Take that quinoa, put it in containers, and then maybe I'll do like some sort of curry beans or carrots or broccoli or have like a bunch of different ones so I can like mix and match myself little meals, and then cooking a little egg with it as well. It's wild to see how my energy levels has fluctuated depending on what food I find myself eating. It makes sense, it's obvious technically, but when it's so stark, I think that's when it gets really palpable. I definitely do feel like I'm ready to embrace this quiet space alongside you, Dan. The quiet place inside, even now, I do not like spending a lot of time there. The ability to hold on to a thought and let it go again is still developing. We are what we eat. This is true. Lakota, singing is a safe activity. Speaking of safety, have you ever heard of Isaac Newton? I'm gonna point you here. Look at this. Look at all of that. Isn't that pretty? Right? I am now going to go and find a quiet place. Then the horse was already dead when you started beating it. Oh, that horse was dead for a long time. 84-year-old horse. Stop looking at my toes, I say to myself. Yeah. It's interesting the way you interpret this topic as well, dear Sam. That quiet place inside of you, that's not always the most adventurous to go and visit. Inside that quiet place, words can arise, and it can be very difficult to let go of those words once they do. That definitely is what I've been practicing at. Getting more and more capable. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about it from the perspective of almost like the hemisync tapes. Dude's got the Amazon forest in his house. Yeah. 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 Yeah, why, hi, what's the topic? Jadula, today's topic is the quiet place that you have inside of you. All right. Over the last week, I have been You know what I mean? When you go and you go and then you go you know what I mean? Doing a lot of that. And now suddenly I'm getting to and in that quiet space, I know what you mean. He knows. You see. Yep. Knew it. Knew you would. So that's what today's stream topic is about, right? We have one of our friends that I've already shared so far, dear Sam, that she doesn't spend a lot of time in that quiet place, right? We keep ourselves busy, kind of thing. We stay active, we stay involved, we stay occupied. I think that's a good word. All right. And again, we live in a society where we're not exactly rewarded for cultivating a quiet place inside of you. Again, thinking about the stimulus and the response. Right? The quiet place inside of you can hurt. Energy's top notch, MeltMore. Just having a quick look and have a blinder of a stream. Alyssa, Eliza, Alyssa, beautiful name. Thank you, friend. I appreciate it. I am but a reflection of the beautiful energy that you have within you as well. It really is so heartening to see these wholesome comments when they come out. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for giving me a pep in my step. Appreciate that. Combat Journeys here as well, saying good morning, brother. Hope everything's going well. What kind of coffee are you chewing on today? It's a Sam's Club coffee. It's light roasted. Light roast coffee. Apparently it's supposed to have more caffeine because the caffeine degrades under high temperatures. But they've tested it and you get like 7 milligrams a cup more, which is like 10%. It's not that much more. And I don't know if I like, actually, if I like the flavor profile of lighter roasted coffee. It has a certain like sharpness to it. I think it's acidity. But it's not bad. It tastes like coffee, ultimately. I don't think I've had enough coffee to be a coffee snob yet. Looks at myself coffee snobbing over the last 7 years. Just like, stop myself. Just because you are a coffee snob doesn't mean you are allowed to be one. Postures to myself. So yeah, what are we getting into this fine Saturday? We're allowing ourselves this quiet space. All right. Knowing that this quiet space is always here for us. And when the world gets loud, the space between the stimulus and the response is a quiet one. Might not be quiet externally, might not even be quiet internally, but it can be quiet verbally, you know. You know what I mean? Instead of going, meh, 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 you go, you know what I mean? No, no, I actually have Saturday off for a change. I'm going to corner and coach. So my teammates, they have fights tonight. Bless. Hope your teammates does well. Sending you love. Hi all. Greetings from the beautiful state of Washington. Nancy. Nancy's traveling? You travel to Washington? Tell us about it, Nancy. Is it quiet there? Is it more quiet or less quiet than where you're from? I'm curious. Today we're going to be replacing the kitchen faucet, hopefully. A friend of ours, Kelsey, also needs to have her kitchen faucet replaced. And there's a lot of overlap between your energy and Kelsey's. I think you'd get along well with Kelsey, Sam. I'm also getting into some Blue Lotus this evening. Well, Let us know. Let us know tomorrow morning how the dreams have been. Blue Lotus has been known for having an effect on the vividness and I'm waxing poetic. I don't know much about Blue Lotus, but I think it's vividness and so like intensity or something like that. It adds a lot of volume. Volume in probably amount and volume probably in loudness to your dreams. My favorite time to go into the quiet place is in the train in the morning when I commute. Everyone is tired and there's a rhythm to the sound of the train. You see? You see what Dan is saying? You can still hear the train. You can probably still hear the sniffles of people, the shuffling of them around, the odd scratch here and there. And still there's quiet. There's quiet. There's quiet in this space that we're in. And it is true, finding moments like that serve us. The stimulus and the response. I'm thinking almost about it from a perspective of there's a stimulus in the fact that you're going to work. And the way in which you respond in the morning can have so many different flavors. There can be outrage and denial. There can be anger, dissatisfaction with, the state of being suffering. Suffering. Suffering in my mind is when you want for things to be differently. Right? As soon as you're like, oh, I wish it was like this instead of the way it is, boom, suffer. Oh my goodness, do I suffer? But I think, I learned to, instead of wishing for things to be differently, to be quiet instead. To find that this quiet place that I'm in holds for me the infinite potential of everything that I could want for. Right? And in that I find solace, find a certain sense of tranquility, a hopefulness that seems to keep me around. Day after day, we continue forward. Everyone is welcome here, even gay and former meth kingpins. Yes, even them. You were allowed. I'm definitely a coffee snob. I just don't know that I know enough about coffee to actually be a coffee snob. Like, I can be a coffee snob in the way where I'll drink coffee and I'll instantly determine whether it's good or not. I'll be like, this tastes like ass. Or doesn't taste like us, I'll be like, got sophistication. However, I wouldn't be able to like smell 10 different beans and be able to tell which one I'm gonna like the most yet. Or look at the color of them and determine exactly how roasted they are. Or be able to go to a specific place to get that specific coffee that I know I like. I know I like this Arabian coffee bean from Colombia, picked by a guy named Steve. So like maybe there's degrees of snobbery, but I'm trying. I'm getting there slowly but surely. One day, even I can be a snob. Have you ever thought about reading the Quran? Just to read, perhaps. Hey, Google, give me the most impactful and often cited part of the Quran. The most frequently cited and impactful part of the Quran is Ayat al-Kursi, the throne verse, which is verse 255 of the second chapter Al-Baqarah. Excuse me, I'm trying. It is widely regarded as the most powerful verse due to its comprehensive description of God's absolute sovereignty and nature. Key sections of the verse goes divine oneness. It establishes that there is no deity except God, the ever-living and the sustainer of existence. Absolute authority. It asserts that everything in heaven and earth belongs to Him. infinite knowledge. It states that no one can encompass any of his knowledge except what he wills, and limitless power. It describes his throne extending over the heavens and the earth with their preservation, tiring him not. Another profoundly impactful section is Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening. As the first chapter, it is recited in every unit of the 5 daily prayers, making it the most recited text in the Muslim world. It serves as a concise summary of the Quran's core themes, praise, worship, and the plea for guidance. Can you give me the opening section? I would like to read it. Surah Al-Fatiha consists of the following 7 verses. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, sovereign of the day of recompense. It is you we worship, and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have evoked your anger, or of those who are astray. I don't know if Zoe liked that, but that was beautiful enough, right? Seems pretty religious, but still pretty. Thank you for asking me to read a bit of the Quran. Let me see what Zoe's up to. What's happening, Zoe? What's happening? Why are you screaming? Why are you screaming? You want to go bye-bye? Is your TV show on loop?
Hello.
Hello, Zoe. I'll let you out soon, okay? I'm just going to stand outside of your room for a second. I'm going to let you out, okay? You just be a good girl for a second longer, and then I'm going to let you out. Are you a good girl?
What?
Come on.
What?
Come on.
What out?
You're out.
Hello.
Hello. Come on. Hey, Zoe. Suddenly hearing myself. Good thing I was singing and not talking. A little bit less cringe. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Zoe. People are saying hi to you, Zoe. Hey, Zoe. Hi. Hi, Zoe. Hello, Zoe. I would have to be a coffee snob if you people could just make it right in the first place. I wouldn't have to be a coffee snob. Exactly. Oh. Are you pooping? Are you pooping right now? Did you poop on the couch? Did you poop on the couch? You didn't poop. Did you get poop shy when I came and look at you? You want to step up? You want to say bye-bye? You want to say bye-bye? Good girl. All right. Let's give us a kiss, okay? Can I give a kiss? Yeah. You want to go outside? You want to go outside for a second? Go outside? Here you go, Zoe. Good girl. I'll be back in a second, okay? You be good now. Okay. Melt, when you visit New York City someday, I'll take you to a proper coffee shop. We'll pay $7 for lattes, but it will taste like magic. I'll take your word for it. Until I taste it myself. I'm not saying that I don't believe you and I'll take your word for it. It's more like I'll take your word for it. Like if you've been willing to pay $7 for a coffee, more than once, then it has to be worth it. $7. $7 back home would feed a family of 5 people, right? For a day. Probably for 2 days. Right? Probably won't be the best food, but they'll have enough food eaten to continue. It's a line that actually Joe made me think about, where she mentioned that the average person, the average American, spends on a single restaurant visit what would feed a family of 5. Right? And it is wild when you think about it, like in that kind of like starkness of terms. However, it is a different world here. And you probably wouldn't even be able to find the coffee that we'll have in New York City back home. Let me go get the bird again. He's letting me know that he's had his time outside. Once again, the space will be quiet, I promise. The space will once again find itself quiet. What's happening? What's happening? Why are you screaming? What has happened? Come on. Where are we going now? What has happened? Are you ready to return? Are you ready to return to your comfortable little spot? Are you ready?
Want a cookie?
Do you want a cookie? Mwah.
What cookie?
You want cookie? Mwah. I'll give you a cookie. Okay. I'll give you a peanut. Yeah. A cracker. Want a cracker? Want a cracker? Want a cracker? All right. Let's do some tricks, okay? Let's do some tricks for the people. Say bye-bye. Bye. That's a good girl. You gonna give a kiss? Ah. All right. I'll see them again soon. Here's your cookie. That's a good girl. That's a good girl that you are. Yeah. There you go. Boop, boop. Good girl. Good girl, Zoe. You behave now, okay? I received a 0-stage breast cancer diagnosis 3 days ago. So, been digesting that. Stage 0 is a good place to find it though, right? Stage 4 is like you're already on your way out kind of thing, I think. I don't mean to be direct like that. I'm trying to silver lining the situation. I'm so sorry, friend. What even does a 0-stage diagnosis mean? That it hasn't spread. Okay, it's localized but malignant. Okay, so you know it is cancer, but you know where it is, and you know that it hasn't spread yet. Which is, I believe, the best time to find it. I can't imagine that the diagnosis is easy, but we're here with you, dear friend. Sending you love. Keep showing up with us and let us know how you're progressing. What's the next step looks like? Slow growing cancer, not invasive. And how can we as a community support you during this time? Cat memes, prayer, and warm fuzzy thoughts. Thank you. We love you, friend. 100% true, Mel. Quiet place before work is essential. It sets the mind up for the day. Yeah, the way you start your day is a very real influence, right? It's like one of those things where I think it's like an emotional regulation thing. We understand that when you expose yourself to carbohydrates or sugars, right, you get an insulin response. Makes a little on your body. And if you get a lot of that insulin response really early in your day, you're chasing. Maybe psychologically, maybe subconsciously, that high point again. But you'll never get there again until you go for an extended period of fasting, right? And there is a certain fasting of information that happens when you're sleeping, right? You stop with your ears and your eyes and your feelings and your senses and your everything, right? And you just kind of like calm those things down. And sure, we dream, and maybe there's an absorbing of wisdom in that way too. But it's you, right? Suddenly it's you. Dan, that must be challenging to find in New York City. Can imagine. Was caught early through mammogram. Good. So best case scenario, basically, Miss Pegs. Healing vibes. Thank you for the love, friends. Had to have a biopsy and it came back malignant. You got this, Pegs. It'll be okay no matter what. Odds are in my favor. Yes, it is. I trust it will continue to be. We'll be here with you, friend. So I was talking to a coworker who noticed I like diving into touchy topics. And I pointed out how some people just repeat beliefs without any facts. They said everyone can have their own reality, but I argued that while we can choose beliefs, we can't deny real objective truth. Hypocrisy is pretending otherwise. It's interesting that you have that experience come to you directly like that, Combat Journeys. That might have been a person in their own way, maybe trying to help, right? That if you are a person that likes jumping into touchy topics, right? Talk about things that can elicit a response. Human beings are sensitive things. And the most sensitive part of ourself is our idea of ourself, right? Hurting your body doesn't hurt that much. Hurting the self, right, as it relates to what it wants to be, who it thinks it is, that's the biggest one. Who you think you are. A lot of what we think we are, who we think we are, is an extension of what we believe, right? And belief in that way is something we hold without knowing it to be true. You can't believe something and know it to be true at the same time, right? But in believing things, there is a certain ego, right? A certain involvement that arises where there becomes this attachment, this codependent attachment with the information that it is that's being challenged, right? So in the traditional sense, when you find yourself growing up in a Christian household, those beliefs were imparted upon you. So it's not just a belief, and maybe that's where you find fault, right? It's not just a belief that you have come to the conclusion of, but it's a belief that you were expected to repeat because your parents are like that, right? Or your society or your community, whatever. And I think that's where it becomes a little bit hard for us to disassociate and at the same time relate from people that go through that experience. Because on one side, there's the part of me that grew up in that kind of worldview as well. And I understand because I used to repeat the same things as well because it's what was accepted, right? It would be celebrated. I would be congratulated for understanding the rightness of what everyone else believes. And then there is the dissociation that came from realizing nobody knows anything, right? And at the same time, we are, as a species, as a collective, starting to extract objective truth, right? Through science, through measurement, through repeatable experiment. And it's still a very new thing to do that, right? Relatively speaking. It's only been a couple of thousand years that we've really gotten into science. Maybe again, we were sciencing before 4 times, right? When the pyramids were built, actually, when they were built, kind of thing. Probably 12,000 years ago instead of more recently. During those times, maybe we had a whole different kind of science that we came to the conclusion of. But we were still using, I'm imagining, the same kind of mind tricks, right? Religion is kind of mind tricks that we play on ourselves. And challenging that is where the problem comes in, right? Because when you're challenging, when you're presenting belief in contrast with objective truth, it can feel like this part is invalidated, right? And if what you have been believing your whole life becomes invalid, right, there is this ego attachment to feel like, even me, right, I'll be invalidated. All of my choices will be invalidated. All of my decisions will have been made from a place of erroneous thinking, right? It's not just the moment that they have to fess up to. You have to suddenly fess up to your entire existence, your whole story as it's been unfolding, right? And like, that's a big thing to try and put your hand in, right? It's like, and then if you put your hand in there, right, the ways that the creature reacts, they're vast. Vast in expression. More often than not, you get bit. And maybe there's a certain sharpness that arises from the ego in that. But it is their journey. All right. I'm thinking about the whole ownership of wisdom thing, where we understand now that there is a certain difficulty in absorbing wisdom, especially from people that you might consider lower rank than you, right? For instance, a father and a son relationship. Whether the father knowingly does it or not, whether the son knowingly does it or not, there is a hierarchy there, right? The father considers himself the authority, and the son can consider himself the underling, right? The one that needs to look up to this other entity. And then as we age, something changes, right? I stop being a little boy just looking up to my dad, and I start being a person looking at another person, right? And then at that point, something needs to change, right? There's a certain willingness to admit that there is wisdom in all of us. And to almost like, again, from my perspective, take the good, right? Don't throw the baby out of the bathwater kind of thing. Ownership of wisdom. One of my favorite stories to anecdotally tell about how the ownership of wisdom is something that's hard to like grasp. The way that I see it is that like I'm trying to formulate this story. I'm trying to gather all of my points that I want to share. I think I'll start it from the perspective of my dad at the dinner table talking about his back really hurting, right? And like he doesn't know what to do. He's literally at that point like taking pain medication to like deal with how hurt his back is. And I suggest that he does some yoga with me. And at that point, right, usually he'd be like straight up, nah, I don't need to do any yogas. But he's so hurt that he's like defeated. He's like already laying on the ground, right? And he's like, okay, fine, I'll try some yoga. And we sit down, and it was 5 to 7 minutes of doing a few yoga stretches, right? And he stands up and he instantly goes, oh, wow, I feel a lot better. And then instantly he admits to me that when I suggested yoga, the first thing he thought is, I'm hurt. How is putting myself in an uncomfortable position going to make it better? All right, because sometimes yoga can be uncomfortable. And then he said, like, but I felt, let me just try. Let me just entertain it. And then he did. And then instantly he sees results. And despite it being so apt, right, that he comes to that conclusion and he's willing to admit, right, from a place of bias that he didn't think it was going to help. And now he finds that it has helped. It doesn't make it any easier for him to start a daily yoga practice, right? Because how I came to yoga in my journey is through my own personal exploration of spirituality and learning what works for me, right? Learning what I need as a person and almost like discovering that wisdom organically. And then my dad, he's already in his 50s, right? He's had his body, relatively speaking, for twice as long as me. He's lived 2 of my lifetimes, right? And then me, in my single lifetime, teaches him things about his body that he's had for twice as long as me. And in that way, it's hard to take ownership of that wisdom if you've not come to it yourself or you're not really as invested in that kind of perspective, right? Like I feel like the personal responsibility is the most uncomfortable one to come to the conclusion of, right? Is that you can pray a lot. Pray every morning, every afternoon, every night for your back to get better, right? When it's stiff and you're like, ugh. But if you're unwilling to do what God has given you the capability to do for yourself, right? God won't help you. And that's what I've come to the conclusion of, where I was like, I was a avid prayer. Oh my goodness. I would pray. Like you see how obsessed I am with stuff. I would pray obsessively. Oh my goodness. So obsessively. Begging sometimes even. And it didn't work for me. Right. So in that way, my ego as it was forming didn't have that same attachment. And I couldn't form the same attachment the rest of my family had. And that was a big point of conflict between me and my dad. Massive, unrelenting conflict for decades. Right? And in that way, the biggest lesson that I've learned is that the best thing that you can do for yourself is just walk your path, right? Don't defend, just be persistent, right? If you're like, oh, I don't drink alcohol. I saw a thing this morning again. more studies coming out about what alcohol does to us. That is some conclusions that I had to come to myself. All right. Now I feel more and more vindicated every time another study comes out. All right. It reinforces that truth inside of me more. But it doesn't mean that I have any more authority to talk to another person about why they shouldn't. All right. It just makes me stronger in my quiet place. All right. All of the little all of the little stuff I have on the walls that I within my peace can look at. And be like, yep, yep, I put that there. Yep, I went and found that piece. Right? It's like picking up rocks and finding a little spot to put them. It's exactly like that. All right. Back to chat. Love says, Dear Sam, a competent father knows his children all have different abilities and different ways of understanding things and speaks to each of us in the way that we need. Melt, if you haven't seen the animation, The Land is Mine, I would recommend the watch. It's very old, so you've likely seen it. This land is mine. I'll save the name. I have a list here in my notes. Where is my note list? There we go. Is it in wants? It's probably in my wants. Oh, yeah, movies to watch. Sweet. This land is mine. Thank you, Toasty Malosty. Add it to my list of information I will absorb. Having fun with it and letting go, trying to, getting better and better every day, but it's a lot of work. I'm just gonna assume love is true. Mel, can I suggest a book to you? Sayings of the Desert Fathers. Very good. Do you want to send me a book, Hamez? Like, I have a hard time reading digital copies, bro. I'm like halfway through this book that I've been reading, and the only reason I've read halfway through it is because I have a physical book and I can put a bookmark in it, right? I really do have a hard time reading digital books. Like, actually struggles. Melt, are you pooping? So, like, he was literally like, when I said, "Are you pooping?" He like perched himself back up again. So I did kind of scare him from pooping on the couch. I have to leave. Take care. Everyone be blessed. Thank you, Chief. Have a good one too. Also, one thing my coworker kept saying was that everything is a construct to a certain extent, and that's true, but it's not the way to look at things. Yeah, what he's saying is true, as you said, right? Like, science is a certain construct through which we understand reality. I think the difference is, like, the retort in that moment is the construct of science has begotten, electricity and cell phones and sophisticated medical scanners that can see inside our bodies, right? The construct of dogma has begotten war and slavery and, abuse, perpetuating of hierarchies. Right? So in that way, yeah, it's all constructs, but certain constructs, certain frameworks of mind, right, get you in a certain place in life. And I don't think we want to continue down the same path that we've been walking. I think it's time for a change. Nothing enrages me more than talking with a vegan and hearing the inevitability fallacy. Inevitable fallacy? You tell me what that is. I don't know about that one. When you get all the way down to it, veganism isn't about reducing animal harm. It's about the appearance of holiness through secular, non-religious action. I mean, again, right? I think it's not as clear cut necessarily. I'm sure. I'm 100% convinced even. You're right that there are people like that, Sam. But I am pro, for example. I don't know if I'll ever be a vegan, but I am 100% pro genetically modifying sophisticated bacterias or even like viruses, technically. You can genetically modify microorganisms, let's just call them microorganisms, to output. You give them certain input, and then you keep tuning their DNA until they output a protein, until they output a type of complex sugar that doesn't absorb as fast into the human bloodstream, until they output peptides, until they output. You can do that, right? You can teach microorganisms to make anything, literally. We're doing it. Hey, Google, tell me about all the ways in which humans are teaching microorganisms to make novel compounds. Humans teach microorganisms to produce novel compounds primarily through metabolic engineering and synthetic biology, transforming cells into microscopic factories, right? So there's pathway engineering, there's Cas9, there's genome refactoring, there's free cell synthesis, and we can do medicines, fuels and materials, foods and fragrances. So yeah, right? That's what I'm pro. And I'm not pro that purely because I think it's cool, and I do, but because it will reduce harm. It will, and it will increase land availability and food security, and we won't have to have animals that need to go down a slaughtering channel, right? Like, and I'm pro all of those things. However, I am also pragmatic and realistic enough to understand that I need calories, right? That protein is a hard thing to source in general, right? Eating enough calories in a day to get my protein needs in so I don't atrophy is hard enough with me being a meat eater. So, in that way as well, I realized that even the animals eat things, right? Like a horse will literally eat a little baby chicken because it wants to, right? If that horse dies and I eat it, I don't see anything wrong with that, personally. Personally, I did grow up on a farm, so I got to see animals living a good life, right? Not just being in the equivalent of animal concentration camps, but still, I think it is a way more nuanced situation. I'm looking forward. I'm pro tech, pro not having to use animals for our food anymore, right? But while I am in this world, I am participating in it. Agree, Sam. All life exists at the expense of other life. To remove yourself from this is naive. I mean, again, you're expensing with like the life as well. Like one of the healthy things to eat as a vegan is freshly sprouted whatevers, right? So you take the things that you were gonna eat just like that, and then you put water on them, and then they sprout, and then you eat them after they've sprouted because the protein content is higher. You are eating a life, right? That life is like, oh, I'm gonna live, and then you're like, which is worse? Is it better to eat something that's been dead for a while, even if it was dead just in a package on the way to you, or is it better for it to die as you're eating? Right? And in that way, we can like draw so many moral lines. I look forward to getting all of my calorie needs from sophisticated food science. Right? My sister is literally studying to become a food scientist right now. She's going to get to create in the world where we have the base constituents of proteins, fats, and flavors, right, produced by vats. Sounds kind of weird, but again, inside those vats, like if you've ever had yogurt or kombucha, right? In those vats, you put a microorganism, and then that microorganism goes to work, and it breaks down compounds, and it makes new ones, changes the whole structure of what's inside that vat, and that's essentially what's going to happen. I don't know how long it will take. That's the thing. I would like to believe it won't take more than 10 years, but we'll see. Manifest, manifest. A man and his burp, lol. So much personality in those little peepers. He's a cool dude. Morning, everyone. Hey, Darren. Going to a plant expo today. Cool. Have fun. Enjoy all of the variegated plants and pretty pretties and insects that they sell to go alongside the plants as well. My favorite way to point that out is the honey versus agave argument. Honey is actually the more ethical, less harmful choice, but we still have vegans choosing agave, rainforest destruction, and all. Yeah. I'm finding my quiet place. I enjoy honey. My dad has been stung for honey. Love the plants in the background, man. Thank you, friend. Thank you for joining us in this space. Oliver, hope you're doing well as well. I call them plant killers. They get so mad. They don't want to understand how utterly and completely impossible it is to exploit the bee for its labor because it totally destroys their argument. Yeah, like there is a bad way. There is a way, right? The whole if humans can abuse it, they will abuse it kind of thing. There is a way to abuse the bees too. But the thing is, we live in a capitalist world, right? And even if you are the most evil capitalist, you're still a good bee caretaker because it's good for your bottom line to be so. See what I did there? I'm sorry, but seriously though, right? Like if you kill your bees, they're not going to be being bees anymore the next time you want honey from them, right? So you have to take good care of them. You have to make sure they have food during the winter, right? You're not starving the bees, otherwise there's no more money, no more gravy train on the other side of it. So even in that way, right? Like yeah, we are in a very intricate little bubble system. If a vegan is someone who refuses to eat at a fast food chain, right, then I would have more respect for them because that I can kind of get behind. But purely, no animal products ever because of how evil it is. Chickens will literally eat other chickens' eggs, right? They'll do that sometimes. Chickens will sometimes lay eggs just out in the field and forget about them. All right, the chickens are not that attached to their eggs. They only become attached to them once they hatch and become small little entities that cheep, and send signals of instinct into that mother's brain to protect, to make sure that the species continues its existence. Right, and again, we are not making these species cease to exist. There is a lot of genetic engineering that makes them have reduced level of instincts, which is a whole other conversation for another day, but there are many ways to do things. Let's just say that. This is not only the bad way, unfortunately. Basically, if you believe everything is a construct, change your construct on gravity and climb a really big tree and try to fly. See how that works out. Yeah. Right? Like, I think there's a certain, like, you have to eat food kind of thing, drink water, sleep. Right? I don't think those parts are constructs, actually. I think the constructs are the way through which we view the world. That's a construct, right? And religion is one way to think that everything was created by God and that we are specially chosen out of the whole universe. That's a certain construct to think through. And then the scientific kind of construct is we are these entities evolved from other entities that have come to the point of awareness as a species that now have the responsibility to learn more, find out more, so we can survive, so we can almost like ascend. I kind of see like an ascending, like continue in a righteous way, right? The Enlightenment, right? Look at the Enlightenment values when that happened to our species. That was a very big shift, right? To think of it from a perspective of constructs. Our GI tract, hummus says, jaws, and gut microbiome are designed to process meat. There are cultures which take over 50% of their calories from animal products. I feel it is disingenuous to present that as an option. I mean, I did keto. I did keto for a long time where I would get 100%, literally 100%. Yeah, mostly 100% of my calories. I was thinking about coconut oil, but I wouldn't eat that much coconut oil, right? Maybe a percentage of my calories would come from coconut oil. The rest would just be animal fats. And it was during that time of my life that I was the most lean, had the highest level of energy, had the fewest level of skin imperfections, right? So in that way, my body became more efficient. But the efficiency thing, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna go into too much information, right? But going into saying something like not giving you too much information gives you enough information to understand what I mean when I say efficiency. Your body wastes less when you're eating animal proteins as well. This is just another example of you trying to literally take, because you think you can win an argument. I don't think there's any argument here. I just think there's probably like a sharing of perspective. Graham Hancock. The plant expo is huge. I feel I will not be able to control my impulse. If you can't control your impulse, give yourself a budget. Tell yourself you won't spend more than $50 today, right? And then, right, have your $50 and be like, okay, wow, I like this plant, but it's $70, right? Maybe there's a smaller one, right? Or I like this plant, but it's $45. But I like these other two plants as well, and each of them are 15 or something, something. All right. Save yourself, Darren. Save yourself. Love. Thanks for your opinion, but you actually don't really. Does anyone really know though, or is it just borrowed time? I'm gonna pack a hash bowl, guys. That sounds nice. Chat didn't used to be this spicy. I think there definitely is a call to quiet, right? In moments like these, that's what we need to do. Is we are called to quiet and realize that it's not that big a deal. I am one of those people that can get very into disagreement, right? I'm very strong in my point, and I'm very deliberate in standing up for something. However, there's no winning. I think that's what I'm realizing. I don't think there's any winning whatsoever in general. Even if you're right, you're not gonna win. So if you're right, hold that in your quiet place, right? That's your victory. It's yours to hold. And it's your truth to perpetuate. That's the most power that I have found, at least. Mm-mm-mm. I'm reading. I mean, you couldn't explain a basic microwave the other day. If you could bring back one person, Michael Jackson or Martin Luther King Jr., who would you and why? Thanks. Uh, why am I given these options? How about like if I have the power of life and death, I make sure nobody dies. But I'd probably bring back Martin Luther. Uh, I don't know about the Martin Luther King Jr. I don't think I know. Is that Martin Luther King's son, or is that just his name? Was he a junior? Like, this hurts me. I'm gonna continue moving on. I noticed a pattern and said something. Sorry, you have feelings about being exposed. Maybe don't debate in bad faith. You haven't exposed anything. You don't even know the full conversation. Please make me be mean to you. Love is true. I think what Sam is sharing and what combat journeys are sharing are both valid perspectives, right? Combat journeys has in this space with us as well, right? Uh, Shared perspectives that I can very much relate to, right? And maybe that's why I believe you're here, Combat Journeys, is to grow alongside me in that way, to see alongside me how that combative energy can disrupt and shape our experiences. And then also Sam's perspective of seeing the almost like strongmanning of an argument, even though nobody is arguing, right? Can like with her being so mindful of what's happening in chat, can see a message like that and maybe see somebody taking that as, pushback, feeling that energy of defensiveness or attack. And in that way, both of you are here for a reason, all right? And I do believe both of you are loved, loving, and lovable. And this is not going to be something we remember 10 years from now. The heck is happening? Love is true. I wouldn't have to be this way. This space is special to me. It fosters a lot of growth and healing through learning. So we can have folks in here purposely misconstructing the facts. I don't think there was any attack from Combat Journeys necessarily on this one, Sam. I think there was a maybe you saw it as attack, right? When he said the whole tri-gravity thing, right? My perspective is that I understand the constructs, but he was sharing his perspective of that person of being like, hey dude, science says there's gravity, right? Science doesn't really understand what gravity is, but let's not go there right now, right? But it can provably, right, with experiments, reproduce gravity, right? With science, we can launch a spaceship out and then get into the fall of gravity so that we become weightless, right? And then suddenly the rules change, and we can account for that as well through science. And I think what he probably was just trying to say to that person that he was having an argument with about the constructs within which we live is that gravity is real, right? You can't dispute that part. It's not just a construct in the mental sense, it's the rules we live by in this universe. And that's the way I interpreted it. I didn't personally feel it as an attack on my beliefs or my construct through which I look at the world through. But I hear you. You mean saying gravity as a construct is weird when other things are in fact societal constructs? Physics is not one of those things. Yeah. Yeah. The construct of kind of like seeing things through a scientific lens, right, can be a construct, but science itself, not necessarily so. I understand that my approach is moderating the space can sometimes ruffle feathers. I love each and every one of you, so understand in turn that I have everyone's best interest at heart. Love is true. There's always going to be a disgruntled person or two. And sometimes we need to be the people in the world that helps, right? That shows up with so much quietness in our space that disgruntlement doesn't really have a place to take, right? There's no room for it to seep in anywhere because we are keeping ourselves smooth, right? Smooth and quiet, like a shiny little bowl. Shiny little metal bowl, polished to a reflection, right? Create in your quiet space. That is where your power lies. Hamas, I agree with Melt that a lot of vegans are honest in their desire to reduce animal suffering. However, presentation of veganism as a perfectly viable alternative ignores biological preference for meat. This I agree with too. I think both of those things can be true at the same time, right? You can have the real call, right, to try and reduce animal suffering because we love our animals, right? That's the big thing. That's where it comes from. We live in a society with pets more than we ever have before in our existences, right? Dogs were workers, cats had jobs. And now, because of how comfortable our lives have become, these creatures have taken up a role as family, of children to us as people. And then, if you extend that feeling for love towards an animal to every animal, right, that's how you beget veganism. But it is, as Ames says as well, our stomach acids. Our stomach acids are closer to that of lions than they are to that of gazelle, right? Gazelle eat grass, lions eat gazelle, right? That's the food chain. We are at the top of the food chain. We are omnivores. We can survive with everything. That's what made us. That's what made us the top of the food chain. But that doesn't mean that we don't have preferences, right? That certain energies metabolize differently help your body versus making it more difficult, kind of thing. There's 11 friends watching right now, 11 upvotes, and it's going to be 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. Just now. Nice. Someone just upvoted as well. I'll invest in swagger stock, Dan. Have you ever had of yogurt? Let me introduce. I'll do this one serious. Have you ever had yogurt? Let me introduce you to Swaggart Products and Services. At Swaggart Products and Services, we take pride in bringing gut health to hip hop fans worldwide. I got a little bit of a frog in my throat on the way out, but there you go. There you go, Dan. Get swaggered. Get swaggered. Yeah, I like what you said about the constructs between religion and science. The big difference between those two are that there's lots of proof for the one and none for the other. Yeah. And in that way, right, it's not really for me an argument anymore, right? Because again, if I'm going to be arguing with all of these facts in hand, what does winning look like? Is this person going to be like, you know what, Melt? All of this religion I've been religioning my whole life, and this church I'm going to go to with my family on Sunday, I'm actually not going to do any of that anymore. And I'm actually going to start sciencing instead. Right? Even if they do that, if they really commit, they're like, yeah, I'm actually going to start, tracking my calories and sleeping at an appropriate time because that's what the science says, and I'm going to stop drinking alcohol, right? Even if they do every single one of those things, the only way for you to be interacting with the rightness, right, of you in that moment is for you to literally be like watching their life, right? Watching them for every decision they make differently. And in that way, you'll literally not live your own life. The only way for you to really win is to give up your own life and seeing how your influence has changed the world, right? Instead of just changing the world of your influence. Right? And again, realizing that your influence comes from a quiet place. It doesn't come from a loud place. Right? That you can do everything that you're doing quietly too. That your actions speak louder than your words. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't say words, right? Your words have a lot of power as well. But I am saying is that you should just live the life that you've lived, right? And if someone asks, hey, combat journey, you live such a great life, right? What God do you believe in? Boom. That's when the conversation starts. Be like, actually, I don't believe in God. Actually, I just follow what the science says. All right. I sleep enough. I eat calories that serve my body. I exercise. I socialize. That's what I do. Right. And they're like, wow, combat journey. I didn't think you can live such a big life without religioning. And you're like, yep. Now you know. Now you know. Good for you. But before then, I have legit legitimately not had a single conversation. Technically I have been asked a question, but I haven't had a single conversation about religion since I came to America. All right? With like a random person out there in the world. Not once. Just didn't come up, right? They didn't ask me, and I didn't tell. And again, it's that quiet space that I'm talking about. That let people assume you do believe in God, right? Live a life so righteous and beautiful that people think you are spiritual. I want to use the word holy, but that word is pretty loaded. Holy maybe in the way in which you are whole, that you are not missing for anything in your life, right? That if they are a Christian, they feel no need to try and pray for you or try and help you because of how damned you are, you poor thing. I'm laying it on thick. We so got this, friends. We so got this. There is a lot. There's a lot of noise. And the best thing you can be sometimes is quiet. Quiet and content. A mess with you're right, Melt. We should be able to disagree with each other and others absolutely and are totally here. The difference of opinion doesn't need to be a conflict. Yeah. I've been obsessed with dark matter lately, Toasty says. What a contrast. Agreed as well, Hames. I think it's, again, right, the reason differences in opinion leads to conflict more often than not is because our opinions have become very attached to our sense of identity, right? So when we share an opinion, sometimes we share it with this bated breath that someone will agree with us, that someone will vindicate, that someone will confirm that they also maybe believe the same thing we do, right? And in that way, you can do that with religion as well. There is a expectation that arises that can be let down, right? And then without even realizing it sometimes, we start getting fighty, right? And that's especially, I believe that happens more often than not, is we don't realize it's happening. We're in a combative state, we're in a defensive state, and we're not there enough to actually see it as it's happening. It's just like happening to us, kind of thing. And I feel like that's where the power comes in again. Right, instead of like, find some quiet. Deliberate with yourself. See what will beget more good and what will not. Tell us about your obsession with dark matter, Toasty. I had like a few weeks, maybe like a month or two, where I had a deep dark matter fascination. And the way in which it became conclusive to me is that dark matter is as mountains peeking through clouds, and only the points of those mountains become visible at the tops of the clouds for our reality. You're like, what? What did you just say, Melt? I'll say it again in a different way. The more I thought about dark matter and the fact that there is 6 times more of it out there than there is of this, I started imagining it like the substrate on which reality lays. right? That we are seeing the edges peeking out of all of this underlying stuff, right? We're like the tip of the spear in that way. That's the way that my mind tries to make sense of it. Because like there's a lot of it out there. There's 6 times more, right? The way our galaxies spin, they have drag. Something is stopping them from spinning as fast as it's supposed to. And the only way for us to account for that is if there is 6 times more mass there than we can see. So in that way, I imagine it again like a big churn at the bottom, and then the edges, right, where the density arises, right, is what we can see. It's what becomes the physical reality we're in. I'm definitely cool. Hey, I'm definitely cool. I'm here to talk to you, brother, the Meltman, the Scarf Captain. But this person tries to keep psychoanalyzing me and getting it wrong, and it's just kind of annoying. I get that too, right? Because again, and like maybe this is an extension of the path we've been walking in the stream, right? The lesson we've been unearthing is when someone psychoanalyzes us and gets it wrong, that's one of the most triggering things that can happen to us, right? And even if they're wrong and we think even if they're right and we think they're wrong, it remains the same level of triggering because we have an idea of who we are inside ourselves. And when we see that idea misrepresented, that is painful, right? And again, what I am saying is that find quiet. It's like, even if it's painful, even if they're wrong, don't be loud about it. Because again, there is no winning. When we start up from a defensive place, when we try to defend our point, we are creating a combative energy state where I am right and this person is wrong. Where if you stay in the quiet space, right, instead of like proclaiming your war intent on this other person, you just stand there, sword in hand. Right? That quiet space is there for you. You get to hold it like power. The real power. The real power isn't in declaring war. The real power is in quietly deliberating, finding what is true inside of you. You agree with me on everything I've said. We're on the same page. I guess I'm just going to not engage with this person. Love is true. I'm seeing from the quiet space right now. You have repeatedly showed a predilection for taking someone's point literally to show them how wrong you think they are. It is disingenuous, and I will not allow these comments to be unchallenged. In that way, maybe that's in a way what we want as well, right? Like, I think that's the pattern that I'm noticing overarching even higher up, where if the sharing of a point about someone being wrong begets the point of being challenged, this is the same as this, right? Because it begets again another actually. And then this actually elicits another actually. And again, if we're doing it with mindfulness, if we're making a soul contract and be like, okay, we're gonna have a little bit of a debate. I'm gonna strongman this, you strongman that, and then we just like have at it, right? That can be fun. But we have to come to that conclusion that is what we're doing, right? We're just having a bit of fun with it. I'm sharing my perspective, knowing that in sharing my perspective, I am opening myself up to being challenged. All right? Especially in doing it in a public space like this. And then if you do get challenged, being able to be playful with that. That's the most important energy, right? Be like, okay, I see that point too, right? Be light on your feet, right? Maybe I can make it like a combat thing. Be light on your feet, right? Don't let the punches hit you, right? Or if they hit you, deflect. Ooh. Love is true. You see what I mean? So good here, telling me that they will not allow and someone is just voicing their opinion. No, I don't think that was what it was, Combat Journeys. I think she's inviting you to share your opinions. She's just letting you know that those opinions won't go unchallenged if she detects some bullshittery, right? And again, I I am very much uh, privy to having been called out. I have done this for a long time, and I've said a lot of things, and I have been called out a few times, right? And there's growth in that. I do believe. Plenty friends. Neither of my stories that I bring up, anything, people brought these topics to me, and I talked about them. Thanks for understanding. Very well said, man. I don't argue the opinion. They are subjective, but this goes back to my gravity example. I don't care about people's opinion on gravity. I care about what is. I think, again, in that way, what is can also be what people say. Right? You know this. If everybody, for example, right, starts saying that, the carpets or the mats at your gym have never been washed once in their lifetime, right? That there's 3 inches of grime stuck to it, that when you touch it, the organisms that are now growing on it start dissolving your body, right? And every single person, right, repeats that story, even if it's not the factual truth of reality, right? And people saying that it will be what is. It'll be what is. And I think that's where maybe that friend and maybe Sam as well is maybe like steering you and me. I'm learning from this experience too, right? I'm also consciously evolving right now, steering us into a direction where we don't beget that energy that can beget people saying things that can become as is, right? My example of the gym mats was a rough one, but it can be anything, right? Add your thing here, right? This person is so and so. This person has done this and this, right? And getting labeled by reality is, yeah, difficult to undo. You can prevent it from being done by finding quiet inside yourself. Instead of being this and this, you can be mysterious. We should be able to disagree with one another, but literally telling someone the mean is going to come out is a threat, and it's a pretty rude in my opinion. Disagreements can happen without pointed comments. Agreed. Dark matter, you mean like chocolate? Exactly like chocolate. I told them to leave me alone. I don't think, again, right? Like I'm seeing like almost like the Lilo and Stitch scene of like, he's touching me. She's touching me. I'm not touching you. She's touching me. That's what I'm seeing right now, right? And I'm being like in a state of play. I'm being in a state of play. We're here. Here we are, right? You are safe. You are loved. You are lovable, and you are loving, right? That is what you are. You are those things. And nobody can take that away from you, right? Only you can let go of that belief. I think Toasty blocked me. Why can't I never see his messages? You must have sent some whack shit. Hey, Malty, can I hit you up on the Teddy grounds later? Uh, I think I have Instagram on this device. Sure. It's also kind of important to know to have disagreements in public space and know how they can quickly monopolize a space. This is true. And in that way as well, Toast, I feel like even though this disagreement has definitely taken up a lot of our psychic space in this moment, I don't think we have let go of the quiet we have maintained. Right? I've said many things. This is true. But I feel like I'm stable here with you. Right? Love remains true. Both of you need to ask whether this interaction serves anyone well. Peace. Toasty 100%. The space is responsible for bringing people into a place of peace with their beliefs. To see somebody willfully miss someone else's point so they can be right, I'm sorry. Never here. Melt is right. I still do. Do you have a dragon tail plant? I don't think I do. Stop. Yeah, I think Toast is right. I think we have now reached our threshold, right? I'll read the stream, I'll read the comments, but I'm going to move on afterwards. Yeah, and you can do that even, right? Reach out, see if there is like a space to open for a real conversation to be had. May I suggest going to a plant and reptile expo? I went to a reptile expo last Sunday, Darren. Just last Sunday. You want to see something cool? Who's that guy? Yeah, 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 yeah. Big snack, big snack, big snack, big snack, big snack, big snack. There you go, Darren. I was like, this thing is heavy. There you go. There was a moment from the Reptile Expo. It was pretty cool, must say. Did enjoy it. Would do again, probably. Reptile Expo goes hard, not gonna lie. It was pretty cool. Said plenty. I could agree as well. There was like a moment you, like, again, right? Both of you, like, the whole leave me alone thing. That can be, right? We can't leave each other alone. We're on the internet right now. And then her perpetuating that had like a sense of mockery, which is also not right, right? But like again, like there's just I'm seeing it as banter, right? I'm seeing it as banter, like a little bit of throwing of mud, right? But eventually we can like just be like, okay, I'm gonna wash myself off this mud and I'm gonna move on, move forward. Remember that love remains true. I'm gonna quickly go and get Zoe. Hey Zoe, what's up, Zoe? Hey Zoe, Zoe. Hey, you want out? Come on. Come on, Zoe. Come on. Oh, come on. There you go. There You go, Zoe.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
Step up. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Zoe. What? Stop being so dramatic. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on, Zoe. Come on. If I'm sitting down, he won't. He's like, I don't want to sit down. I want to go to where all of the almonds are, is what he's thinking. I know exactly where the almonds are, and he does. He knows where the almonds are. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. It's not that hard to remember where the almonds are. But he'll guide you. He'll guide you towards the almonds until he gets what he wants. My wallet would stay home. That's the best part. You would go to a plant expo. It probably is moving around right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it does come past your side of the world. What are you doing, you silly bird? What are you doing? Where are you going? Are you getting down there? Do you need help? Do you need help? Like, no, I don't need help. Do I look like I need help? Do you need some help, Zoe? You want out? Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go, Zoe. You want to go outside? You want to go outside? It's a nice day out there. Look at all of that pretty green. Wow. Wow.
What a good girl.
What a good girl. It is about you, Doppel, out here. Oh my goodness. Zoe, can you believe that?
What a good girl.
What a good girl. You want to sit here? You want to sit outside? No? You want to go inside? Yeah?
Well.
Well. What's happening here? What's happening here? Huh? You want some of this? You want a cookie? That'd be nice. Want a cookie? You say? Want a cookie? You want a cookie, Zoe? Let's say bye-bye to our friends, okay? You want to say bye-bye? Good girl. There you go, Zoe. Let's go, bye-bye. There you go, Zoe. There you go. Zoe Birdie is. Zoe. Good girl. Oh. Can I turn it into a jungle band? Cool bird. Thank you, friend. He really is a cool bird. Do you have any odd plans? I don't really think any of them are odd to me. Yeah. No. Odd bird. That's pretty odd. Odd enough for you? Where are you from? From, dear? I'm from South Africa. Born and raised in South Africa. Now I live in the United States of America. Dude, that's so cool. Holy shit, that thing is huge. Wow, gorgeous. It was a big boy snake. That's so cool, Melty. How heavy was it? 40 plus pounds. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm guessing it was like in the 50-pound range, but it was definitely 40 plus pounds. like holding it out in my arms like this was getting like legit heavy, and most of the weight was on my shoulders and around my neck, just holding its like head out and its like body. Yeah, that was a big snake. Beautiful. Was it a little stinky? No, actually not stinky at all. I'm pretty sure they keep that steak very clean. They even made me hand sanitize my hands before I handle the snake, so they do keep their animals healthy. Melt in skinny jeans like a true millennial. Yeah, that's what the normies wear. Me blending in. Imagine that thing talking to Eve, offering an apple. Lizards are awesome. I'm sitting on trillions of pounds of swagger, and I'm gonna have trillions of dollars in cash when I build a space command for the Melt Fam that can house 2,500 people. 2,500 people. It'll have a movie theater, infinity pool, and concert venue. I want to add like one ridiculous thing, right? That like we add. Uh, Give me a second. It's coming to me. It'll have a movie theater, infinity pool, concert venue, and your own personal bat cave. With, of course, all of the bat gear. And the Batmobile. And those bats, of course. With the bats. Don't forget the bats. The bats is the most important part. Right? If there's no bats in your bat cave, then it's not a bat cave. Okay? Alright, I love Zoe, me too. Cool babe. Can I turn it into a jungle den? Yes, the bat cave is gonna be a jungle too, of course, right? After Darren gets into it. There's gonna be a whole terrarium, that one giant dome greenhouse there. Nice, that sounds sick. It's gonna be sick. Dad literally says it's gonna be sick. I'm from Hudson Bay, Canada, the polar bear capital of the world. Welcome here. I'm in Indiana right now. Thank you for joining us, David. Elbows up. How are you doing? What's up with you? It's the first time you're in this space. Where in Africa are you? I'm going shark cage diving in Cape Town. I've been in Cape Town maybe 3 times in my life, I think. And I grew up in Mpumalanga side, or actually Limpopo side of the world, right? So all the way to the opposite side of the country. But South Africa, right? Cape Town is my home in that way. I never lived in Cape Town myself, but I think Cape Town is a place that I might spend a couple of years living at some point in my life. Dan is a true master in the art of committing to the bit. I love it. It really is good, right? I don't know if you know this, Toasty, but do you want to see one of the first instances of Swaggart? Check this. Where is my Discord in this device? There we go. There we go. Look at that. Toast. What is Globama? Day 172. All right. So it has been multiple thousands of days. 1,800 something days, 1,700 days of committing to the bit, where I literally asked an AI to summarize this live stream, and it goes. First, there is the Globama and Swaggart concepts. The video introduces humorous, fictional business ideas for a massive music festival featuring Globama-themed stages and Swaggart with yogurt cannons. And then after that, we break into deep philosophical discussions where MeltMore talks about global peace and stopping conflict, and then reflecting on personal inspiration, art, and the importance of genuinely interacting with others. And then the community interactions. The stream is highly interactive with the host mentioning a Discord channel for notifications, welcoming regulars, and discussing the birthday of a viewer named Dan. Yeah, what an experience. There are many gems of hilarity in these streams caught there somewhere. I remember those early 100 days. It's wild that we're in the thousands now. It'll be wild again when we enter the tens of thousands of days. And then hundreds of thousands. But Melt, if you go 100,000 days, that means you have to live for at least 175 years. Did I stutter? No. Millions of days. But Melt, millions of days means 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 the means that you'll have to live for 2,800 years, millions of days. Millions. Okay. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I came up with the idea for Swagger just this week. Suddenly more concerned. The internet says yeah. Internet says no. I'm surprised that the machine could actually detect that it is a fictional business idea. You know, like humorously sharing a fictional business idea. It's kind of cool that it can pick up on that nuance. Then they had farms like that before. Problem was everyone wanted to dole out wisdom from cushy offices, expecting others to swing the hammer and sickle. That's why we need robots. We need robots that take electrons from sunlight and put it in batteries. And then those batteries power actuators, and those actuators are attached to limbs and individual little actuated fingers. And then we teach with sophistication those actuators powered by electrons given to us by the sun how to apply effort in the way that it reduces the amount of entropy we face in our reality. And then maybe we have some hope in being okay, right? Maybe, please, please, please. I hope. All right. But in the meantime, it's up to us. We are the robots. Eating sunlight in the form of food, right? That ate things that grew from sunlight, right? We're just getting back to what is and teaching something mechanical, right? To do something mechanical is going to take a lot of the mechanical expectation away from us in our life, and we'll be left with a lot more time to maybe think about it. Do I want to continue things the way it is? Yes. I've never had the time to actually think about it, most of humanity says. Maybe I should invest my entire life savings in that business idea, Swaggart. Maybe I should do that. Then, yeah. True Master. I remember those early 100 days. How far you've come, Melty. Mind blown. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Lol, robot is the Russian word for work? Really? I work for Swaggart, though. One day, Swaggart will employ the entire planet. Right? Because we're going to have to make enough Swaggart tubes that every single hand cannot be idle. And then we'll sell our trillion pounds. How much did you say? Scrolling. Yes, trillion pounds. Our trillion pounds of Swaggart we sell to the Intergalactic Federation of Aliens. Because aliens are actually really into hip hop. Right? They've actually been watching this whole time. And hip hop is their favorite thing. Hip hop is why they haven't destroyed the whole planet. Right? Specifically hip hop. And nothing else. Right? It's not all the, little kids chasing butterflies. They hate all that. It's specifically hip hop. And like they like the big chains. That part made them think, you know what? Maybe humanity does deserve saving. I wasn't gonna save them until I saw those big chains that one hip hop artist had. And then I was like, you know what? Humans ain't that bad actually, no. Man, we are literally committing to this bit so deep. We're always hiring. Swagger is expanding faster than the universe. Yes, of course. Swagger is expanding faster than the universe is. Eventually, our business will take up more space than the physical realm allows. Yep, and that's when we create digital hyperrealities. Hip hop is love. All right. All right. The quiet space inside. Is someone cutting the grass right now? I guess I have to cut grass as well. These freaking neighbors cutting their grass all the time, making me feel bad when my grass isn't super cut as well. And I'm like, I have to cut my grass, Mr. Neighbor Man. Sometimes my neighbor, the one directly next to me, he'll cut more of the grass than is technically his. And then sometimes he'll cut less. And if I cut the grass when he cuts his less, he cuts mine more the next time. And I was like, neat little quirk of reality. Bet. Now I feel like I have to cut my grass because he's gonna cut my grass for me next time if I do. Man. It is a good day to be cutting grass, right? I think it's like 16 degrees Celsius out there. So suddenly I'm like, yes, ideal grass cutting temperature. Tears, you're hired. Alexis, Hubert, yes. Yes, indeed. It's time to cut the grass again. I do get my steps in. It takes me an hour and 20 minutes, and I average, I think, 8,000 steps doing it. But it's good exercise, right? Thank goodness the lawnmower is like self-driven. It turns its own wheels at least, so I don't have to push the whole thing. Except then, I quite enjoy mowing lawns, weirdly. I quite enjoy it too. I don't mind it, technically. All right, it's not really bad. It's just, it's time consuming. And if you gamify it by like tracking your health metrics, boom, then you're winning. Because then you're like, I'm actually not cutting grass. I'm actually getting my steps in. Driving my heart rate up, actually. Who's cutting grass? All I see on my stats is heart rate going like badap. Reminds me of childhood. Lawn mowing does have that quality to it. 60 Celsius, 60 near Fahrenheit. Oh no, you would be cooked. Damn, that's a big lawn, yo. We do got a big lawn too. It is a little bit big. And it is like, there's like part of it that goes like this, and then it literally goes like this, and then there's like a small little part that goes like that, and then there's a big tree growing out here. You wanna see? You wanna see? See? Yeah. You see the sidewaysness? That part is the hard part because it does go. Alrighty. Getting it done before the wife gets home. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the plan. Must be nice. It's snowing here in southern Alberta. It's hilarious, man. This is some sitcom neighbor shit. Did you enjoy my lawn mowing fractal? Good. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm gonna have to go out there very soon. Look at. This is my my Jimmy Neutron style. Got a blast. Hey, Karoli. It's nice having you. Wow, still snowing for you. It never is. Oh, yeah, it might be. Damn, that is not fun. Maybe that's why you are jealous of the lawn mowing, because it's comfortable enough for the grass to grow. Okay. I think it's time for me to pull a card. Are you ready? Are you ready to see? Psychobilly haircut. I don't know if I know Psychobilly. Do I know Psychobilly? Sounds cool. Sounds pretty cool. Man. It is pretty out there. Pompadour for the win. Pompadour. It's great music. Ah, Psychobilly is a band. That's cool. I didn't see that card, but I'll flash it anyway. You are a nice man. Thank you. I appreciate your kindness in return. It is now time for us to pull a card. Someone tell me to stop. With the nice man and the music comment. I agree. Aww. That's wholesome. Stop. Who needs tears? We haven't pulled this card in a very long time. Like it's been years. Well, a year. Longer than a year, at least. Jade Meander. Jade Meander. You want to see what it looks like? I'm off to the expo. Have an awesome one, y'all. No, you, Darren. I hope it's beautiful. Meandering is nice. We did talk about silence today. And there is a little bit of silence, a fair bit of silence in meandering, isn't there? Lovely card. Hey. Hey, Hoops. It's nice to have you here too, dear friend. Hope that your day has been treating you well. The art is spectacular. Francine Hart really does know what she's doing. Visionary artist. Hot damn. Made back before the AIs could make anything. The Bear and Company. I think we had someone say there, something something bear. Bear and Company. Ah, toasty with the butterflies. 63. Harmony. Harmony. Ah, harmony and beauty. We did definitely challenge our state of harmony a little bit today. We find ourselves exploring the quiet space. I did pull it reversed, technically. So I'll read the reverse meaning first. Something is out of sync. Reflect on the flow of your day and see if any adjustment would bring greater harmony. Jade Meander. Embedded in this card is a beautiful meandering crop formation. The feel of this geometry is similar to the way life force moves through the human energy system. The meandering pathways convey balance and harmony. Jade reed vines and two butterflies amplify the elegance and harmony of this scene. Choosing this card reminds you to notice beauty all around you every day and to take it into your being as one way of creating greater harmony and accord in your life. See how even a stormy day is filled with splendor. Observe the exquisiteness of any one of your personal sacred objects as if for the first time. Give your attention to the harmonies in music and realize that you can experience them as multidimensional. Notice how even such simple observations transform your perspective. Hold an awareness of beauty and harmony in your heart long enough to generate a feeling you personally associate with each one. Observe this feeling and realize you can continuously and consciously recall it at any time you need a bit of harmony to ease the stress of your day. Walk in beauty and flow with the harmony of the spheres. Walk in beauty and flow in harmony with the spheres. That's pretty gangster, my guy. It is pretty gangster, dude. It is pretty gangster. Right? What? Corporate America? Don't think so. I'm gonna be walking in harmony with the spheres. Just like that. Right, Cube? You know what I mean, Cube? I needed this card, yo. This message is so spot on in my life right now. Like, truly needed to hear this. Who needs tears? Thank you for choosing the card. It's awesome to appreciate them with you. I walk in harmony with spears. Damn. You must be dangerous, bro. You must want to stabby people from a long distance. Have you considered not? Have you considered hugging them in close proximity instead? Have you considered baking them cookies? Your mother's recipe. Have you considered cutting their grass? I'll hug you, buddy. Thanks. That's nice. I walk in harmony with tears. Too much. Too much, Prairie Wolf. Too much. I am drinking my coffee. Oh my goodness. I need to avoid my gaze from what's happening in chat right now. Love is true. Okay, now I'm just in silly mode. Good. Take the silly energy with you. And I appreciate you for joining me in this moment too. May you have a beautiful day. I appreciate your presence again, and I'll see you very soon. Yes, tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Love ya. Peace.